Hello and welcome to the Wolfchase Toyota Insider of the Memphis Tiger Network. I'm Jeff Bridwell alongside Brooks Monaghan, and Coach, team keeps playing very well. You're coming off another shutout win over Iowa State.
Yeah, it was a good game. You know, it's one of those games, I'm very hard on the kids, but it's one of those games when I went back and watched the film, I thought we played better than we did live. So I have to give credit to the kids. I mean, obviously it's never perfect. There's always things you can learn and take from a game to get better, but it was a good win. I mean, Iowa State is a, I felt it was a close game. They're a good team, obviously playing a big conference, and so overall, great win. We made a few adjustments because they played a little bit different system. We've seen that quite often from teams we're playing. I take that as a compliment, and so we had to adjust, and it took a little bit of time, but overall, a very good win.
Looks like they raced an extra forward up front a lot of times, so you couldn't kind of ease your way up possession-wise on offense.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's kind of used to it. Either somebody dropping an extra player back or pushing a player forward. It's what I'm happy is the kids have been able to. We've adapted pretty well to whatever is thrown at us. So, like I said, great win, and obviously, you know, conference starts now.
It was a fun game to call. It was a physical game, but it wasn't chippy at all. They have they're a Big 12 team, so despite their record, they still have Big 12 style athletes. So you guys matched up pretty well.
Yeah, no, I thought we matched up extremely well, and you know, our non-conference schedule, I think, is we've seen a little bit of everything, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, that's great preparation for a conference, and you know, I feel like you know, our conference in women's soccer is very, very strong, but I feel like it's prepared us where, you know, we've seen everything now, but you know, can't help to, my mind's just racing about next weekend because we have a huge weekend ahead of us.
Coach, before we get into conference play, Serena Dolan's going to be on the watch list for the senior class award. You've had several players on that, and that's a neat little award, not just for performance on the field, but what they do in the community and what they do in class.
Yeah, I just found that out today, and great for her, and very happy for her, well deserved, and you know, Serena is kind of a quiet leader for our team, but obviously a very, very consistent player, and you know, has been a very consistent player over her career. So I'm happy for her, and you know, maybe she can be the next Lizzie Simmons and win that thing.
All right, Coach, we're getting ready to go into conference play, so your non-conference is done. What are your thoughts going into league play as far as what you've done in non-conference? Obviously, your record and your ranking it's great, but as a coach, I know there's probably always things you want to tweak.
Yeah, I know. I'm obviously very proud of this group. You know, you go into the season as a coach, I mean, one of the important things is to be realistic. You play to win every game, but going into the season with, you know, losing the players that we lost, you know, in my mind, it was kind of a rebuilding year. Let's go get them. But this team has proven that they you know, it's not a rebuilding year. They've set the standards extremely high, and now it's my job to hold them to that standard. So, you know, you know, I think there's so many positives. You know, I'm not going to go into the things necessarily that we have to work on, but it's a work in progress. You know, and I still don't believe that this team is peaking or has peaked yet. I still think there's room for improvement, and you know, all I can ask of the kids is just, you know, give me 110% every day, and they do a very good job of that. So hopefully that prepares us for this tough conference season coming up.
The vibe I get as far as being at the games, calling the games, seeing the team after a game is they're enjoying what they're doing. They're having fun. That doesn't mean they're not playing hard and they're not all business once the clock starts and we're playing soccer, but they don't seem to put any kind of inherent pressure on themselves that limits them during the match. There's
so many things that you know, you need, so many boxes to check to have a successful team. It's definitely not just all talent, you know, and the group has to like each other. They have to love each other, and that was the first thing that I told this group when we met in preseason is, number one, get to love each other, and they've listened to that, you know, and they really are a group that gets along well off the field, and that's what you want, because at the end of the day, you want them to die for each other on the field, and this team is, you know, I think that's a big part of this team is just the closeness. All
right, the way the schedule sets up, you're going to play two of the contenders to start out things down in Florida, UCF first, USF first, but good for you. You're playing very well, so it's a good time to go on that road trip.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if we're playing well or playing bad. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a beast, and two very, very good teams. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to have to be at our best to give ourselves a chance. And when I say best, that doesn't mean perfect. There's never a perfect game, but we just have to be firing on all cylinders, both physically and mentally, to give ourselves a good opportunity to get a result.
Looking at scores around the league and the standings right now, this league is always good, but it seems to be really good this year. I mean, it looks like a league that could get not just its 1 to 3 usual bids, but maybe get a 4th bid in there this year.
Yeah, I mean, right now there's, again, anybody can beat anybody in this league. It's a guarantee, and obviously, you know, there is a handful of teams that are having really good seasons, and we just happen to have to face 2 of them on the road our first 2 games, but that's okay. That's okay, and you know, another message we've been sending to our kids is it's consistency. It doesn't matter who you're playing, you know. Obviously, you got to take care of yourself, and, you know, consistency. So this weekend, if we're not consistent, we'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the girls are in a good place. I think the spirits are high. I think they're excited, and I think they're ready to give it their best.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach Brooks Monaghan, I'm Jeff Brightwell with the Wolfchase Toyota Insider on the Memphis Tiger Network.